Hi there folks, and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm very excited to bring you this video today, as there was a recent Project Zomboid development post, that being the Thursdoid, and surprisingly there was actually a whole bunch of content in this one, some sneak peeks and plenty of updates from the development team on different areas and their progress. So we're going to go over that in this video today, and I'll aim to make it as easily digestible for you lovely viewers at home. And as always, there's a link to the full blog post in the description if you'd like to give it a read, and if you find the video useful or entertaining, please do consider dropping the video a like and subscribing to the channel for more videos just like this one. So let's get right into it. The devs do a bit of a trip around the different departments of the development team on this one, starting with the audio team at Formosa UK. These guys have a lot of stuff in the works at the moment, such as items like new music, the music system, some new sounds for items like the Firecracker and Switchblade for Build 42, and all the audio associated to animals that will be coming in Build 42 as well. So there's a lot the Noiseworks guys are working on, but the dev team then focus on a particular aspect of their work in a bit more detail. Essentially, these are being called acted character noises. We're talking about puffs, pants, draws of breath, that sort of thing that would coincide with actions we already have in the game. These will be recorded by real-life actors and brought to the game to add a little more depth and feeling to all of the movement that our characters have. The developers do follow this up, however, by saying that this will likely be a setting that we can turn off if we feel it's intrusive, which is a nice option to have. And some other examples of these effects include effort noises for opening windows, climbing fences, some sleeping sounds, pain noises when bitten or scratched, and the lovely sound of your character throwing up their guts. Moving on from all things audio, the team's next stop was with the animations department. The team basically give us the context that for a while now they've been looking for an expert in animations to come and lend a hand with some movement bugs and issues that have been outstanding for quite a while now. Previous attempts from the team to find such a person haven't worked out, but now an individual called Steve North from Ever Curious Entertainment has come to help with the issues the team have been having. This should lead to a range of improvements to help the Indie Stones animator, Martin. In terms of what this means for players, it'll hopefully be that in Build 42 we see smoother animations, better transitions between said animations, and possibly some tighter feeling controls. But of course, we won't know until a little later on that and we start to see the updated works. So next up, some of you that may have watched my last video from the previous Thursdoid update might remember that the team mentioned work on the integration of a new Fire FX system, but that they weren't quite ready to show this off just yet. Well, that's now changed, as we've been given a bit of footage that shows off a campfire burning, and I've got to say, it looks like a pretty neat upgrade compared to the previous campfire effects that we're used to. There's also some work ongoing towards new mechanics like burnable oily surfaces and the development of fire spread in save games and multiplayer code. There's still a lot of experimentation going on according to the dev team, so I'm sure there'll be some more updates to come on this in the near future. In terms of teasers though, there's still one more thing that the devs had up their sleeves for us in this blog post. We were shown this image, which seems to be a racetrack which is under development by Xionix and Ayrton. Apparently there's a lot more like these in the works too, so hopefully we'll get to see a few more teasers of those in the coming weeks and months. Next we move on to more animals and crafting, and RJ gives us a bit of a description of his ongoing work here, saying that his primary focus at the moment is prepping stuff to be put in front of some testers. Improvements are being made to the meta side of the system that governs animals when you're not in their direct presence, primarily how feeding and water troughs are managed whilst the player is away. Whilst that is RJ's current focus, he's also working on adding some polish to the genetics system behind animal breeding. He'll also be moving on to animal sickness in the very near future. Turbo is currently working on getting things ready for other parts of the team in regards to crafting to help expand it, and so that plugging stuff into it becomes much easier. He does say, however, that first he's going back over his crafting stations and doing some refactoring, which in this context means adding a lot more automation to the way the system works in the code going on in the background. He then goes on to say that this should be worth the extra thought that's going into it though, and at the bare minimum you should be able to create a new station purely through scripting alone. If a certain station requires it, then custom logic or a custom UI panel or element can be easily added. This means that the system will be easier to use for modders as much as it will be for the actual development team. Last but by no means least, we move on to Blair's work, and in this post the devs mentioned that if you're aware of Blair's modding work, it should come as no surprise that so far in his time on the dev team, he's brought with him, and I quote here, a whirlwind of cool ideas to the table. So that's cool to hear. He's also struck up a pretty good combo team with the loot placement artist Bath. Now there's a few things that Blair is working on right now, but today the dev team decided to focus on everything to do with keys in the world of Project Zomboid. So first up, zombies will now only have a key or a key ring with a key in it for suitable buildings that they spawn in or near to. Prison guards can have prison keys, inmates cannot. Employees of a business can have a key for it, and customers cannot. More keys will now also spawn in buildings, not just for the building, but also nearby vehicles to said building. Sometimes those nearby vehicles will also have a key for the corresponding building in their glove box. When a vehicle spawns a key, whether it be in the glove box, on the ground, or on a zombie, it has a chance to be accompanied by a key for a nearby building as well, which should prove for some interesting environmental storytelling if combined with any sort of world design based events, but there's no mention of that in this particular dev blog. Only police officer zombies will have keys for police vehicles from here on, although they quickly mention that survivor zombies could have anything if they've got their hands on something in the aftermath of the infection. The developers also state that keys could now have names according to the sort of building or business that they unlock to help players piece together what they might be used for, rather than just being named key. Lastly, the devs say there's more stuff coming with regards to key rings, so watch this space, and that includes Lucky Rabbit's Foot key rings. Now, there's literally one line of text in the whole blog post for this next bit, which has been snuck in right by the end of the blog post, but we will now be able to mix in a small percentage of sprinters with shambling zombies, which is something I've been eagerly waiting for, and I'm so glad to see it being added. This can make for a real challenge even for experienced survivors, so I can't wait to give that a go. The developers then finish by saying that this isn't everything. There's a lot of optimization and balancing going on in the background, as well as the ongoing work with basements and other fun stuff that's lined up for build 42, but that there's not a huge amount of news here other than it's coming along nicely for the time being. They also say there will hopefully be some updates on these mentioned features in the pre-Christmas Thursdoid, so something to look forward to there as well. Now that's it for me in this one, everybody, but as always there is a link in the description to the full blog post, and I'd like to encourage you guys to let me know what you think of the changes coming up from this Thursdoid. It's always good to discuss these things. I know for a fact that the devs keep one eye on community feedback on multiple platforms, so get talking about it. Once again, a very special thank you to all of my existing patrons for their support and for joining me on our currently stalker-themed Project Zomboid server. There's a link in the description if you'd like to join them. Thanks folks, and I will see you all in the next one.